Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
Insight Talk Radio Show was born from the need to spread the word to all who want to live the amazing life the Creator has intended for us. Reverend Janet Reynolds has 30 years of spiritual insight and experience. She has studied and taught in and outside of this country and has developed a respect for all religions, beliefs, and spiritual practices that are of God's true light. The lessons she learned are now shared every week on Insight Talk Radio. Tune in every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2:30 for spiritual guidance, tips, and techniques to aid you in your life's journey. The show also features interesting guest phone readings, healings, and meditations.
Well, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my show, Insight. I am Janet Reynolds, your host for today. I am a spirit medium and intuitive counselor with the help of Blue Feather, my guide. And today's topic is past regression, which is really going to be quite interesting. And our special guest is Patricia McGivern. Patricia, say hello or something.
Hello, everyone.
And how are you today?
I'm great.
I know, I can tell. I can tell. Patricia is a certified hypnotist who has specialized in past life regression since 1998. And I think it was probably in the 1990s that I was taking my class at the ARE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been a while. It really has. Patricia is certified by the International Board of Regression Therapy, and she trained with world-renowned Dr. Brian Weiss. And I have Dr. Brian Weiss's books. But what I'm going to do here, since I've said this much, I'm going to let Patricia finish and tell us a little bit about herself. But before I do that, if you'd like to call 727-597-4022 and ask us a question or give us some input, that would be great. And then I just want everyone to remember that I always tell you what Wikipedia has to say about our topics when we're talking them each week. And I did print out past life regressions from Wikipedia, and they do have some interesting notes. I really believe Wikipedia always has good notes, but a lot of people have controversy about Wikipedia.
About what it says.
Yes, on whether or not it's true or not, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's true, or at least so far a lot of what I have, spit out from them has been true. What is your opinion of Wikipedia?
Well, so far, everything I've researched is great.
Well,
But
yeah.
but can't you write in, like, if you disagree, like, you can write into them and...
Yes, and then you can also write into them, I think, and give your opinion.
I love that.
Yeah, I know. You know what opinions are. So please, Patricia, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Well, as Janet said, I've been doing past life regression work for about 15 years now. My office is in downtown Dunedin, and that's in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And I've written a book, Angel Babies, Messages from Miscarried and Other Lost Babies. It was through the loss of my miscarried baby, Dylan, that I was really propelled onto a spiritual path. I was not metaphysical before, or I didn't think I was metaphysical. And hearing from him, literally, as I was waking up from a nap, saying, I'm right here. I'm right here. And I didn't realize it was him initially. I thought it was my daughter who had come after him. But as the story unfolded, I soon realized that it was the voice of the baby I had lost. And that baby turned out to be my dad returning to me, and thus my interest in past life regression.
And I find that really interesting when you say that Dylan was your dad, and that does happen, and that is true because
Yes.
Because of the fact that we do reincarnate, but then it's whatever your belief system is, which is my belief system, is that we do reincarnate. And yeah, family members do come back.
Right.
They do. So I think that is really, really great. So tell us a little bit about regression therapy, but even before you do that, tell us about Brian Weiss. I think he's amazing.
Well, the very first book that I read about reincarnation was Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters.
And I have read that.
And when I read that, it was like a whole new world opened up to me. It was at a time that I had just begun searching for deeper meaning of life, I think, and it just resonated so deeply. I felt like it was like finally I was learning the truth. And for me, it was like, this is what they really meant when they were talking about eternal life, many lifetimes. It was so funny. When I found out I was pregnant with Dylan, I did not, it's not that I hadn't heard the word reincarnation before, but it wasn't part of my belief system. And I had, if you've ever had, well, you have, being a medium,
yes.
But an uncensored thought that I now recognize as them trying to talk to us in our mind. This thought that what didn't feel like it was mine came, and it said, the baby will be born basically on your dad's birthday because the baby is your dad returning to you. And I remember standing in the hospital, just finding out I was pregnant and thinking, oh, where did that thought come from? Like, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, I discovered that it was, in fact, the soul does know.
Yes, the soul does. The soul knows a lot of things.
Yes.
Doesn't always tell us right away either,
No.
does it? Well, let's see a little bit
Yes.
about what Wikipedia says.
Okay.
And then we'll get into it. Past life regression is a technique that uses hypnosis, which is important for everyone to know, and that is it starts with hypnosis, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and to recover, hypnosis to recover what practitioners believe are memories of past lives or incarnations. Some regard them as imaginary.
Yes.
Okay, so as these are not necessarily testable through empirical processes, nevertheless, sufficient numbers of people over millennium have reported experiencing memories. That's spirit calling. I forgot to turn my phone off. Experiencing memories of past lives to warrant serious consideration of the phenomena. And then the other thing I just want to say is that the technique used during past life regression, which I know you're going to explain to us quite thoroughly, involves the subject answering a series of questions while hypnotized to reveal identity and events of alleged past lives. So, a lot of that I agree with. Do you?
I think I need to write Wikipedia, but well, there's a few things. One is hypnosis. Let's just talk about hypnosis briefly.
Mm-hmm.
All hypnosis is self-hypnosis, and it's a state that we go in and out of throughout the day. If you've ever driven somewhere and you get there and you're like, whoa, who was driving the car? That's actually a light state of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had clients tell me that they have seen themselves in past lives while they've been driving.
Mm.
One didn't know what I did for a living. I was in a group of women, and she told me, and I thought, well, there are no coincidences. And I said, well, you're probably seeing yourself in a past life. And she was like, oh, what? She didn't talk to me for a year, but I figured it was planting a seed. Planting seeds. So, you can see yourself in meditation. Meditation is a state very similar to hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
You can be getting massages and go into that state where you get messages. That's how I communicated with Dylan, partially, and my deceased parents, not knowing what I was doing at the time. I just thought I was really good at imagining things.
Yeah.
But didn't it say something in Wikipedia about that it can't be basically that there's no proof. Did it say something to that degree?
Okay, wait a minute.
They didn't use the word proof necessarily, but and I've got to tell you, now I'm writing another book called Soul Explorer: Healing Through Past Life Regression. And one of the reasons that I started writing this is I knew through reading Brian's books and then training with him, which was fabulous, by the way, that that you could heal emotionally, from phobias and things like this. But what I began seeing was physical healing that was happening that was just amazing. Did you find it?
I found it.
Okay, what does
and
it?
I am listening.
Yes.
Please. Some regard them as imaginary.
Yes. Well,
That was the word.
and spirits calling again.
I know. I apologize for that, guys.
Well, imaginary or sometimes psychodramas of the mind or metaphors. And there are times, maybe it could be some of that.
Baby, I can't talk to you now. I'm sorry. I can turn it off.
Okay.
I apologize for that, but my daughter is having some experiences today,
Oh,
and there you go.
and she needed to call her mom.
Well, yeah, she was talking to her mother coming over here, and then now I don't know that it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it'll have to just wait until we're finished. So once
Okay.
more, I really apologize. Now, please, let's go back to
Yes.
some regards them as imaginary.
Yes.
Yeah, it is not imaginary, but go ahead, please.
Well, the reason that I would say it's not imaginary is I have, of course, experienced my own past life regressions. I've tried to imagine different things. Like, I don't want to go through the pink door. I want to go through the blue door, and the door wouldn't change colors. I've tried to change it. I've asked clients, did you try to change what you were seeing? And basically, my clients always say, I can't think of things quick enough. I'm not good enough at imagining. And often there's emotion. That's when I know I really got into something, actually, is when there's tears involved and when you hit a deep emotional chord, that's powerful. It's very powerful.
It's very powerful, especially when the emotions do come in. But Patricia, go back to the pink door, blue door.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, yeah, because I kind of jumped around. Well, say you're imagining something. One of the things that I do is, go in a hallway. One of these doors will call to you. I was experiencing this myself in a regression with Brian, and I went to a door that I had been to before. And it's like, well, I know what's behind this door. I've been to this lifetime before. And so I try to imagine a different door.
Oh, I understand you now.
And so I thought, I don't need to see this. But in fact, I did need to see that lifetime again because there was more information in that lifetime that actually had to do with helping me to find the courage to write Angel Babies.
Oh, okay. Now see there, so they were putting you through that door again so that you could finish what you had started.
Right. I had seen pieces of it actually on my own in self-hypnosis, but I needed someone to guide me through and ask the questions to get your inner mind to look for the answers. Because if you try to do some of this, it's not that you can't do it on your own. It's that if you begin the thinking process and analyzing, you'll pull yourself out of the state of hypnosis.
That's now I understand all of what you just said. I really do. So thank you for that. No, if you imagine, no. But yes, if you have someone helping us get through it, then we know what it's trying to tell us. So that's good. I understand that now. So I guess that's one of the discussions we'll have to take back to Wikipedia, that it's not imaginary.
Well,
Right.
and my clients are finding themselves in history books. I'm not talking about history that you or I would know offhand, but when you go to Wikipedia and you are like, oh my gosh, there was, a war at this time in the Pyrenees Mountains in 1642, and oh my gosh, that's me on the horse. That's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is. Well, I have done several regressions, and like I said, I've also learned. I also took a class in it. I think I took 3 different classes in regression. And but when I was put through regression, I was a farmer. And then,
Right.
but a redheaded farmer in Russia. I still have that tape to this day, and I know that it must be a good 10 or 15 years old. I think probably 15 years old.
Wow.
And I have never forgotten that regression.
That's also a very good point. It's unlike a dream where you forget it. You remember your regressions for, 15 years. I can tell you my regressions, too, with great detail. It's you re-experience that lifetime. You're not just, although you can be watching it, there are times that happens, but generally speaking, you're in the lifetime. You're looking down and, oh my gosh, I've got big hairy man hands,
Yeah. To know that I was a redheaded Russian when I was a redheaded child, and then that means I was a man, and I'm sure I've been a man in many lifetimes, and I still have a lot of the I have more of the masculine side than the female side, but I try to keep the female side, as much as possible. But I think it's amazing what we can pick up from regression about our lives. And I was even during the cowboy times, I was one of your, what do we call the women who, they weren't cowgirls, but what do we call the women?
The pioneers?
Yes. Thank you.
It's okay.
Yeah. A pioneer. I was definitely a pioneer woman, and I could see me with my sleeves rolled up, and I was doing one thing that I don't ever do now, and that was cooking. And I could see the table and the chairs, and there were many children involved. So see, that's another one. So now, when you've done regression for yourself,
Yes.
Tell us one or two of yours.
Well,
if you'd like.
Yeah, I've experienced about 15 at this point.
Okay.
And sometimes only glimpses of them, but just enough to explain something. A short story, I wanted to meet Carol Bowman, who wrote Children's Past Lives. It was after my spiritual search, that was the last book that I read. Fantastic book for anyone listening. And I was in Ocala or near Gainesville somewhere, and she was there. And I walked up to a lake and was looking at this beautiful sunset. And you know how you send someone walking up behind you, and I heard someone, and the person said, "It's beautiful." And I said, "I feel like I'm in Africa." Again, like, what? I've never been to Africa. I am not drawn to Africa. Why would I say that? And I thought, please don't talk to me anymore. I'm so embarrassed. You're going to ask me, why have I been to Africa? And sure enough, this voice said, "Have you been to Africa?" And I said, "No, I have no idea why I just said that." I turned around. It was Carol Bowman.
Oh.
Yes.
So did she explain to you why you said that?
Well, I told her that I was there to see her because it was when I was interested in learning on becoming a hypnotist and doing past life regression, being the guide instead of just enjoying, so to speak, the ride. It was years later that in a very quick past life, I looked down and I knew I was in Africa.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, gotcha. But it wasn't a lifetime I wanted to stay at, and I was quickly out of it.
I'm sure you were. I bet you learned a lot while you were in Africa, too.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I really believe I was, too, because of my my thing with elephants. And yes, because I've done quite a few, not as many regressions as you have, but I've done a couple. And one of the ones that I was with elephants. So.
And you're drawn to elephants in this life?
I am so drawn to elephants.
Isn't that, see, that's a good example, things that we're drawn to, or even people that you meet and you're like, "Are you sure I haven't met you before? I feel like I've met you."
Well,
that soul recognition, or even conversely, like, "I don't know what it is about that girl, but I just don't like her." That's also soul recognition.
I'm glad you told me that. You know that? Because, it's very few people I have problems with, but there is one that I just know not to be around.
Trust it.
I do.
Yeah.
Instinct tells me that, no, you don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, that was good that you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Patricia, thank you. I'll remember that. Now, then I won't feel so bad.
Exactly. You don't need to. It's just your soul remembering the last time you guys were together. It wasn't so good.
I never gave that thought. And I bet I learned that. But I've never given that thought. Isn't that funny? Well, instinct says don't go near that.
Okay.
And then I don't. So that's a good thing to know. That really is.
Good.
Okay, so let's look at this one statement that I thought was very interesting coming from Wikipedia, and that is, in the religious mythology of China, the deity Meng Po, also known as the Lady of Forgetfulness, prevents souls from remembering their past lives. She gives them a bittersweet drink that erases all memories before they climb the wheel of reincarnation. Now, can you just imagine that? Just to give somebody a drink so that they never remember their past? I think it would be, I think that it's interesting that we can do regressions and go back and learn some of what we are really about. I think that's a good thing to do. And it takes quite a bit of studying. Am I correct in that? I know for myself it did, but how about with you?
To learn how to be a guide, you mean?
Well, to learn how to do regression. Tell us a little bit about the steps that you go through when you do hypnotize people.
Well, yeah, you first of all, you need to learn to become a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist. And a hypnotherapist is more training. In the state of Florida, they like us to use the word hypnotist, but and then to learn how to go about it so that you know how to handle when people are emoting, or that those are ancient tears, and not to be afraid, but to let the client cry, and because those tears, when released, are so healing. My clients will say, like, I just feel lighter, something feels released. It's an amazing experience. For me, I take clients not only through their lifetime, but try to go to the significant events depending on where we end up when we first land, so to speak, in a lifetime. And by the way, I wanted to go back. Although I said that we've found clients in history, most people are, the pioneer women, the small child in South America or something. They aren't famous. Like people say, I bet everybody's Cleopatra. No. But even Cleopatra did reincarnate, so it's possible as well. But most people had just very regular lives.
Right.
Anyways.
Do we know anybody? Do we know anybody who was somebody famous that reincarnated?
I do.
Oh, good.
I
Tell
do.
me.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's very interesting. I had a client come to me who thought she was Mary Mudd. And I thought, okay, well, we'll probably find out she wasn't. But, you can be in the scene as well. Well, it turned out she's like, well, I just don't think I read so many books on Mary Mudd. I'm like, well, how many books are there on Mary Mudd?
Would you tell me who Mary Mudd is?
Lincoln's, I'm sorry, I said Mary Mudd. That's so, Mary Lincoln's wife.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm sorry, I said Mudd because I've got that in my head because
that was her maiden name.
Because my genealogy is going back to Mudd, and of Dr. Samuel Mudd, who repaired the knee of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln. Mary Todd is who I was trying to say.
Oh, there you go.
And she had read all these books, and it's like, to me, I'm thinking, isn't one enough, But see, this is another good example of being drawn to something. People may be drawn to castles or Civil War times or things. These are indicators that there's a reason you're drawn to those, and you can explore them. So, it was interesting. I thought there may be something bigger at work here, because why would she find me with my genealogy going back to that time period. I just thought it was interesting.
It is. It is. So when you did the regression, how close did you get to finding out whether or not she was related to Mary Todd?
Well, all I can say is she described where she was living so vividly. If I was an artist, I could have drawn it. It was, to me, it was pretty darn good. But now I have someone else. We have found the descendants of this person that she was, and have been in touch with them and may actually meet them. So that's pretty cool. And she has been able to tell the family things about this man that nobody else knew.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be in the book. So, yeah, and it's just fascinating. Fascinating. Also, this with his physical healing, I had a client who was, just a brief story, was stabbed in that lifetime. And I do take people through the death scene. You don't die. You go through, and if anything, you lose a fear of death because you realize, oh, I'm floating above this body that used to be mine, and I'm still alive. And then we go and talk to a wise and loving being. But when I emerged this client, I said, have you had any problems in this area that you were stabbed? And she said, what? I said, do you have any physical issues in this lifetime? And she said, oh my God, I have had problems there almost daily. I've been to doctors. They diagnose it kind of, but they never healed it. I said, well, let's just see what happens. I saw her 6 weeks later. I said, how's your side? She's like, what? Your side? She said, oh my gosh, it's completely gone.
Yeah, yeah. So what we're saying here is, even like if somebody was hung in a past life,
Right.
they could have throat or neck problems, or even
That's exactly right.
part of the back, right?
I had a client come to me who did not come to me for metaphysical reasons, came to me because she would wake up in the middle of the night and she couldn't go back to sleep, and she didn't know why. So I just thought we were going to go into this lifetime. Let's just find out. I do regression in this life as well. And sure enough, she said, well, she spontaneously regressed to another lifetime. And she said, well, I'm a man and I'm about to be hung. And I did it all right. I said, what'd you do? I stole horses.
Oh, say.
It turned out it wasn't until she came back to me. I did not know why we went to that lifetime, but that client was a great teacher for me because she taught me that I don't need to know. The soul knows exactly where to go to heal. And when she came back, she said, my husband reminded me that I wake up at night because my neck hurts, and it hasn't hurt since.
Oh, now see there? Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, that is the one thing that I have learned is that when we do have, I'm going to use the word mishaps in past lives, that when we do regressions that we can heal what was affected at that time. So I think that that's pretty amazing. Now you said something that got my attention. Regression in today's lives. Now, I know how to do that, but explain regression in today's lives.
Well, it's basically the same thing. It's just getting to that place where your hypnosis is talking to the subconscious mind or the soul, however you want to look at that. But you've taken away the conscious part of your brain that's thinking you may not remember, and you can have people in this state go back to the happiest state you had in kindergarten, and boom, they're back. Oh, look at Sandy, she's wearing that little pink dress. I always wanted that dress. And
Oh, now that's a good idea. And maybe today there are a lot of people, because there's so much going on around all of us, who need to go back to a past life to find a little bit of happiness, because maybe they're not as happy at the present. So maybe if they bring that memory forward more than once, that it would be, good for them. And then that way they maybe perhaps wouldn't be so grouchy.
Well, remember that for the first 5 to 7 years of a child's life, it's kind of like they're an open book, a computer chip. I'm not going to say they're completely blank because now we know they're coming with all this past life residue, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that is said to a child in those early years just goes on this computer chip, so to speak, and it's thought of then through the adult mind, even through the eyes of a 3-year-old. So sometimes when you go back to when you were 3 years old and take the adult you back to that scene, some of the work I do, and help that child see a situation differently from a different perspective, the healing is miraculous. Like, oh, I didn't drown the ducks. They weren't ducks. They were chickens. Chickens don't float. You know?
That made them feel better, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, see, now that's another good thing to know. It's good that there's so much out there that we can do to help ourselves. There really, really is, and people need to be aware of that. And then regression and hypnosis is one of the things that you can do. Even when it comes to smoking cigarettes or dieting, that would be more hypnosis than regression. Is that correct?
Yes, although sometimes I will take people back to when they smoked their first cigarette.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, I feel regression would help that too.
Yeah, and when you go back, a lot of times, because I'll ask them before, when's the first time you smoked? I was 18, and then I regress them. It's like, oh my gosh, I was 8 years old, because there's a part of you that's always watching what's going on. So there may be some comments that you would say, so to speak, but I always tell my clients to put that part of you that wants to analyze, have that part of you sit in the corner, and you can analyze it for the next 20 years and just let it all come up. And yeah, it's amazing.
Let me just mention, please call 727-597-4022 if you have a question or if you have some information you'd like to give us about what we're talking about. That would really be good. Even though myself as an intuitive counselor, and even though I've learned hypnosis, I have a certificate in that, and then the regression, I find that when you're doing regressions and you get to the difficult part of the image or scene that they're seeing, that's the part that bothers me. I don't know that I can pull them out of the situation that they're in so easily. Did that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I can share with you what I do for that, because it's not about re-traumatizing someone in advance. It's about finding the information so that they can heal from it. I think that when we go back to past lives and re-experience something, well, if we're all made up of energy and energy never dies, so, we return with that, and there's that energy residue from a lifetime that may be hurting us, which is why we have the stomach aches or whatever, then perhaps when we go back and re-experience it, it kind of balances the energy, so, and maybe that's why it doesn't affect us. I don't know for sure what it is, why it works, why it heals, why it helps. I just know it does.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. But I think pulling the person through it is important. When I'm doing readings for people and I feel that they need to perhaps have a regression done, I always tell them to be very careful who they go to and make sure that they are of integrity.
I agree.
And can help them. And of course, I recommend you. And of course, I have a couple other women and that I recommend, because I really believe it's extremely important that when you're at that certain point in your life, in your lifetime or your past life, you need to be brought out of that issue comfortably. Is that said right?
Yeah, if that's how you want to
I mean-
say it. But yes, it's I think it's important that whoever you go to, not only have they been trained and they're not afraid, so to speak, if you get to a difficult spot, but that you are comfortable with that person, that you feel safe with them. That's the most important thing.
There you go.
So if you don't feel a connection with someone, and that's the same for me when I talk to clients calling in, I want to kind of get a feel for them. And because every once in a great while, it hasn't happened for a long time now, but I just know that I'm not the best person to work with.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Why not?
If there's just an energy that I'm picking up on, I guess, that I just think that they may do better with someone else. Maybe I'm not comfortable with them. It doesn't matter. If I'm not comfortable with what I'm hearing on the phone, I'm not here to convince anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just everybody's where they're at, but that doesn't mean I'm the one that needs to be the guide for you.
Okay. All right. So what you're saying here is that were you to be uncomfortable with that individual, then you would ask them to please find someone else. Is that correct?
Right.
Well, that's good, Patricia, because even when I'm doing readings with people, I always know when people shut themselves down.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what I say or how I say it, they don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had situations like that to where I have asked the people and I have said to the people, I'm sorry, I can't do this and I'll give you your money back, but I don't feel I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to know that that's something that you would do also if you felt that you couldn't help them.
Mm-hmm.
It's no sense to bring them in to work on them.
Right. And hopefully I pick up on that during the phone conversation. And, there are people who call and say, well, you can't hypnotize me. And I'm like, well, you're probably right then, because a big part of this is, if you believe you can't be hypnotized and you're going to set up that block,
yes,
I'm not doing it to you.
Mm-mm.
I am guiding you. It's kind of like a guided meditation, and so, you either allow yourself to go to this place, and usually when I bring clients in, we talk for quite a while before we even get started, so they feel safe with me, so that I've explained hypnosis, what it is and isn't. I'm not going to give you suggestions. If I gave you one that you didn't like, you simply won't accept it. It's not like what the movies have portrayed. If I explain hypnosis so that people feel safe and they realize that they really are always in control, they will go into that state beautifully.
I think that it's very important. I feel it's very important for everyone to understand. And in hypnosis, you are in control.
Yes, you're not asleep, you're not unconscious, you're not a zombie, you're aware of everything going on. You might even think you're not hypnotized because you're expecting it to feel weird or freaky or, but I hear everything you're saying. It's like, yeah, remember I told you were going to hear everything.
I know.
And they are able to talk to me. Now, some people there are different, levels of depth, but you could be in a very light state of hypnosis and get information like when you're driving. But I've had some clients who are whispering because it takes energy to speak, and you don't realize that. And when you're so relaxed, I know I've even had the thought, I wish they could just read my mind. I mean, I've got to talk,
Yeah, see? So, it's good to know, because a lot of people do fear hypnosis because they feel that people are going to control them and then make them do things that they shouldn't. And that is not the case.
Right. That is completely incorrect.
Yes. When I took hypnosis, I did it twice. The second time was free, but I did it twice so I could really understand everything that the instructor was telling us. And I'm sort of a fanatic. I have to be right. But he actually pinched me, and I did not feel it. I did not.
That was, yes, where I got my training. He did too. And I remember looking at my girlfriend next to me, I'm like, I'm not doing that to my clients.
No.
Yeah, I know.
But it's good that they do that.
Right.
Just to make you, and I wasn't asleep. I just was calm, and he pinched, and he kept pinching, and I never felt it. But yet I was still in control, and that, and I think that that's neat that that we can do that.
Right.
And stay in control.
Because the subconscious mind is so powerful. And, you know, there was just an article this week, I think, on the placebo effect. And the placebo effect is because they believe it's going to work. They're given a pill, you know, that has nothing in it, you know, for the test. And but people think this is going to cure me, and it does because they believe it.
Oh, it's mind power.
Yeah, exactly. And we can and there's so much it's unexplored yet with us, and that we could use to heal. There's a part of us, I believe, that knows why we're sick and how to heal ourselves.
I agree with that one too. I really believe our mind is so strong. In hypnosis now, one of the things that I did do, because I was dating a gentleman that I just could not dance with. I could not. I think it was funny because he told me he was a good dancer. I don't think so.
And it turned out he couldn't dance.
Not in my mind. So I knew we were going to go out this one night, and I sat down, and you can hypnotize yourself. You really can. And I did. And I just told my subconscious, I want to follow this man regardless. And we went out that night, and I was able to dance with him only because of what I did before I left. But it's your mind. You know, you make up your mind that you can do something. You can do it, right?
Belief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the belief system.
Yeah.
Well, I really believe that the mind is very, very powerful. Even though we, you know, might bring it out more with hypnosis or regression or whatever. But, you know, all you have to do is want to do something.
Be open.
Bad enough. Yes. And yes, be open. That's a good way to say it too. Yeah, because you're not helping yourself if you're shut down. And I did a reading the other day for a girl, and I really had to, it was really heavy. In her mind, she couldn't do anything. So she really needed help with a therapist, which is what I suggested. And you know what? Now that I sit here and think about it, hypnosis would have been a good thing for her to do, or a regression.
Because sometimes, well, my husband's a mental health counselor, so clearly I believe in therapy. But there are times that you don't remember where it goes back to, and that's where hypnosis can help.
Right.
You know, an event that happened that you can't recall in your conscious mind. And when you go back and look at that differently, change your perception and heal from it, which is what therapy is all about, that's where the healing happens.
Yes. And a lot of people, you know, really do need that kind of help.
Absolutely.
Now, Patricia, we're getting, you know, the time always goes fast when we're doing fun things. But I have some advertisement that I need to talk about because we only have a few minutes left. Well, we have a good 15 minutes left. So, and I'm sure you have some advertisements?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. I'm going to start my advertisement with there is going to be a psychic fair at the College of Metaphysical Studies Saturday coming, which is the 16th. And it's going to be there. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I will be a reader there for those of you who are interested. And the phone number to call is 727-539-9976. And that's in Clearwater. Now, the Atman Center, have you heard of the Atman Center?
No, where is that?
Okay, the Atman Center is in Pinellas County. It's in St. Pete, further down 19, but it's on the left-hand side of 19 going south, okay? And the admin center is Natalie, and she's the woman who puts out the Transformation magazine.
Oh, yes.
And they're going to have a psychic fair, to which I'll be there that day also. And this is jumping a month. It's going to be April the 20th. And the phone number to call would be 727-474-1236. Now, I also would like to tell you that we're going to have Dr. Jenny next week. And Dr. Jenny and I are going to talk about the spine and a lot of those problems. And she's a very good chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that I will be at the Treasure Island Flea Market every Friday, March and April. Okay, and that's right at the park in Treasure Island, right off of 1st Street, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm at the Osmar Flea Market every Sunday, right here in Osmar. And I'm doing readings there, so please join me. And then I work out at Thonasassa, and if I didn't say that I work at Mystical Sense, I do believe she'd hang me. And I work out there three Thursdays out of the month, but she's going to have a health fair on March 23rd, so I'm going to be there for that. And then Benjamin's Studio, which is in Treasure Island, that's one of my favorite places. That's Joe and Karen. They're good women, and I'll be doing readings there on March the 30th. Now, if anybody would like to really find out about where all my events are and everything, go out onto my calendar, www.bluefeather.net, and click on calendar, and all of the information is out there for you to see. Now, Patricia, it's your turn, sweetheart.
Well, you can find me at www.patriciamcgivern, McGivern.com. There's a calendar on my website. I will be doing a group past life regression if you want to get a taste of what this might be like. That's going to be at my office, the McGivern Healing Center at 234 Monroe Street in Dunedin, Florida. That information is on the website. That will be May 10th. And because you have international listeners, I'm going to be in Dublin, Ireland a few days later, and I'll be doing a group regression there as well on May 15th. And then a talk at Spirit in the City the following night, and that too is on my website.
So you did find some places to go to in Dublin to work.
I did.
How nice. Now tell me what they are again.
The first one is going to be a group past life regression. In Dublin, she is locating the facility, the venue for where we're going to do that. And the following night is going to be a talk at, it's called Spirit in the City.
How nice. You'll have to hit one of the bars afterwards.
Oh, I will be there for 5 days.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yes.
I love Dublin. Dublin is beautiful. So you're going to be there on the 15th.
Yes.
Okay.
May 15th.
Okay. I'm going to be in Scotland.
Oh.
On May 15th.
What?
But I'm leaving to go to England May the 5th. And then I'm not coming back to the 19th, but I am going to be in Scotland, which is the Isle of Arran, so I say it correctly. I'll be there from the 10th through to the 15th.
Nice.
I wonder how far, I have to think about that, how far Ireland is from Scotland. Has to be a little bit of a ways, don't you think? Or maybe not.
Yeah, it's over the water.
Yeah,
over the pond a bit.
Over the pond. Over the pond, dear.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I was going to say else I could maybe take a jaunt and come see you.
Yes.
But I guess not. Maybe it'll be too far to come. But I'm really looking forward to my trip, and I bet you are too.
Very much so.
Yes, it's my granddaughter's first birthday, and I'm definitely going to be there for that. So now, Patricia, is there something else that we can please tell our listeners?
Of course, I see clients for private sessions. My sessions last for about 2 hours, and that's in my downtown Dunedin office.
Okay.
So for a personal tour
Uh-huh.
of a past life, if that's what you're interested in, or in hypnosis for whatever it might be, please feel free to give me a call at 727-992-9262, and we can talk.
Are there any classes or anything going on in your place?
Well, the regressions are the ones that I just mentioned. The one that's coming up May 10th, I'll be doing a group regression there. And then I have other people come into the facility. I'm having Alania come in one night, and also Trudy Griswold, Angel Speak, is going to come in. So all of that's listed on the calendar if they want to see if there's anything that interests them in that way.
Yeah, and isn't Trenda doing something?
We're still putting that together.
Oh, how nice.
Yes. Oh, wait. She's doing the Body, Mind, Spirit meetup group.
There you go.
I cannot remember the date on that.
It's on a Friday, right?
I think it's on a Wednesday from 1 to 2, but I don't remember the date right now.
Oh.
Jeez. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? It's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. But I thought it was Friday. Because I can't never make them. And it's because I'm working the Treasure Island Flea Market.
That's the other.
Oh, that's the other.
The private one.
Oh. Take me to miss the private
the
ones.
Spiritual Sage meetup group.
Oh. Does that
she's
mean older women?
that means we're invited.
Well, I am a little bit older, but not by much. But see, the mind. I have a strong mind, so it's a good thing I do because I don't act nor feel my age. How about you?
No.
So that's really a good thing. Well, I'm just going to tell everybody thank you very much for today, including Patricia. I really appreciate the fact that you're here. I have enjoyed it immensely. Hopefully next week everybody will tune in, and then remember the phone number 727-597-4022. But if you would like to watch this video, go to spiritpioneers.com and click on Insight, and then I'm out on YouTube, so you can watch it out there also. So do you have anything out on YouTube yet?
Yes, I have some of a little bit of interviewing about angel babies.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone have a good day, and God bless.
Hello?
Oh, my
okay.
goodness. We got a phone call. Who is it, please?
This is Joan. How are you, Janet?
I am doing very well. Is it Joan Walco?
No, the one that was in Daytona.
Oh, the one that was in Daytona. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you called in. And how can I help you today?
Well, I had you do readings for me, which I was always very happy with.
Oh.
And we did speak of regression, and you did tell me exactly that. If you have it done with someone that knows exactly what they're doing. So I turned in today because I thought I'd like to hear what Patricia had to say, and it was a very interesting program.
Well, thank you.
Thank
now,
you.
Patricia, please let her know.
Yes, thank you very much.
And unfortunately, I'm not any longer in Florida, but when I get back there and get a chance to go to Dunedin, perhaps I can get over to see Patricia.
That'd be great.
That would be nice. Now, but you want Patricia to answer your question. Is that correct, Joan? You want her personal opinion of the same thing, of what I said?
I wanted to let you know I really did enjoy the program on regression. It was very informative, made me feel a little bit less scary about it.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps I might do it sometime. But it's great to see you on a radio show and listen to you, and I'm miles away from you now, but I do try and tune in on Tuesday to watch you.
Oh, I'm so glad that you do that. I really am. Is this my Joan from Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Oh, you sweetheart. I know a couple Jones, but you said Daytona, so you threw me off. So now you're here.
I thought perhaps you wouldn't remember of the big move.
No, I don't forget anything you do, girl. I don't. Well, I really appreciate you. When did you get in? When did you get in? Oh, you're still in Pennsylvania?
Yes, permanently.
Oh, when are you coming in?
Well, we were down there January and February, so it'll probably be January and February of next year.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. You won't be here anymore the rest of the year?
Don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But
But go ahead.
I'll keep in touch, and hopefully we can have a reading when I am back down there.
Okay. All right. Well, you take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Joan, I just wanted to add that regarding your fear, I'm sure there are other people out there who feel that too. I just want you and the other listeners to know that, even in this, in a hypnotic state, you are always in control, and you can end it at any time. All you have to do is have the thought that you don't want to do it, or you don't want to see what you're seeing, and you're out of that state. So there's nothing to be afraid of, really, knowing that you're always in control. It's like you're the driver, and whoever your guide is just saying, hey, let's look down this street and see what's going on here.
That's comforting. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for that insight.
You're welcome, dear. You have a great day.
Okay, you too.
And
Bye,
thanks.
dear.
Thanks. Bye. Ah, that was a sweetheart
Yeah.
of a woman. She's done a lot for me. She's made house events and
Wow.
everything, and then they moved back to Pennsylvania. So yes. Well, here we go. Thank you very much, everyone. Anytime you'd like to call in, please do so. Feel free. And remember the phone number 727-597-4022. You take care and have a great day. Thank you for joining us today on Insight. Join us weekly where we will give spiritual insight, tips, and techniques to aid you on your spiritual journey. May Spirit be with you.